Most people begin their day the same way. An alarm rings, often too early, breaking the silence of sleep. A hand reaches out, half awake, pressing the snooze button. Minutes pass, then another alarm sounds. The body feels heavy. The mind feels slow. And the day begins not with intention, but with resistance. For many people, mornings feel like a struggle rather than an opportunity. They wake up tired, rush through preparation, skip reflection, and move directly into responsibilities. Emails are checked immediately. Notifications demand attention. Conversations begin before thoughts are fully formed. The day starts with urgency instead of clarity. And without realizing it, this rushed beginning sets the tone for everything that follows. Think about how different your day feels when it begins calmly. Imagine waking up without panic, without rushing, without stress. Imagine having time to breathe deeply, to think clearly, to prepare mentally before facing the demands of life. That kind of morning creates a different kind of day. Today's story is about mornings. But not just about waking up early. It is about how the first moments of the day shape the direction of everything that follows. It is about creating a routine that strengthens the mind, energizes the body, and prepares the spirit. Hey everyone, welcome back to Inspired Pages. On this channel, we explore books that help us improve our thinking, strengthen our discipline, and build meaningful lives through daily action. In our previous videos, we explored powerful lessons about thought and responsibility, learning that our inner world shapes our outer reality. Today, we continue that journey by exploring a book that turns powerful thinking into daily practice. Today's book is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. This book begins with a powerful idea, that the way you start your morning determines the quality of your day, and the quality of your days determines the direction of your life. At first, this idea may seem simple. After all, mornings are just the beginning of a day. But Hal Elrod explains that mornings hold a unique power. They are the quietest moments of the day. The world has not yet filled with noise. Responsibilities have not yet taken control. Distractions have not yet demanded attention. Morning is the one time when you can choose your direction before the world chooses it for you. Many people live in what Hal Elrod calls mediocrity by default. Not because they lack intelligence or ability, but because they live without intention. They react to life instead of designing it. They wake up late, rush through tasks, and spend the day responding to problems rather than creating solutions. Over time, this pattern becomes exhausting. People feel busy, but not productive. They feel active, but not fulfilled. They feel tired, but unsure why. Hal Elrod suggests that the problem is not time. It is not talent. It is not opportunity. The problem is how mornings are used. Most people underestimate how powerful the first hour of the day can be. They treat it as a necessary inconvenience rather than a valuable opportunity. But the truth is simple, the first hour after waking has the ability to shape mood, focus, and productivity. If that hour begins with stress, the day often continues with stress. If that hour begins with intention, the day often continues with purpose. Hal Elrod calls this intentional beginning the miracle morning. Not because it creates magic overnight, but because it creates transformation through consistency. He explains that extraordinary results do not come from rare moments of motivation. They come from daily habits practiced repeatedly over time. And the best time to practice those habits is in the morning, before distractions take over. This idea challenges a common belief, that mornings are only for rushing into work. Instead, Hal Elrod encourages using mornings as preparation time. Preparation for mental strength. Preparation for emotional balance. Preparation for productivity. Preparation for success. Imagine two people starting the same day. One wakes up late, rushes through preparation, skips breakfast, checks messages immediately, and enters the day feeling overwhelmed. The other wakes up earlier, spends time in reflection, sets intentions, and begins the day with calm focus. Both people have the same number of hours, but their experiences feel completely different. This difference does not come from luck. It comes from preparation. Preparation changes performance. Hal Elrod also shares a deeply personal story that gives weight to his message. Early in his life, he experienced a devastating accident that nearly ended his future. Doctors doubted his recovery. Challenges seemed overwhelming. Many people would have accepted defeat in such circumstances. But instead of surrendering, he chose to rebuild his life step by step. One of the tools that helped him recover was creating intentional mornings. He discovered that when he began each day with focus and purpose, his progress became faster. His confidence increased. His resilience strengthened. Through repeated effort, he transformed not only his mornings, but his life. This story reminds us that transformation does not require perfect conditions. It requires commitment. Commitment to daily growth. Commitment to improvement. Commitment to beginning each day with intention instead of reaction. Another powerful insight from this book is that most people accept average results because they accept average habits. They settle into routines that feel comfortable but produce limited progress. They wake up at the last possible moment. They rush through preparation. They delay important goals until later. But later often becomes never. Hal Elrod challenges this pattern. He encourages readers to stop drifting through mornings and start designing them. Because design creates direction. Direction creates momentum. Momentum creates achievement. This shift begins with a simple decision: to treat mornings as valuable instead of inconvenient. Not as a burden, but as an opportunity. Not as a struggle, but as preparation. Not as lost time, but as invested time. Once this mindset changes, mornings begin to feel different. They become moments of control rather than chaos. Moments of clarity rather than confusion. Moments of intention rather than reaction. And slowly, almost quietly, life begins changing, not because time increases, but because attention improves. After understanding the importance of mornings, the next question naturally appears: what exactly should be done during this time? Many people believe that waking up early alone is enough to change life. But Hal Elrod explains that waking up early without intention is simply losing sleep. The real transformation comes not from waking earlier, but from using that time wisely. This is where the heart of the miracle morning begins. Hal Elrod introduces a simple but powerful system called Life S.A.V.E.R.S. Each letter represents one activity that strengthens the mind, body, and spirit. Together, these 6 habits create a balanced foundation for growth. These 6 practices are simple individually, but when combined and repeated daily, they create extraordinary results. Let us begin with the first step. Silence. Silence is the foundation of clarity. In a world filled with constant noise, silence feels unfamiliar to many people. Phones vibrate, notifications appear, conversations continue, and thoughts race continuously. Rarely do people sit quietly without distraction. But silence creates space. It allows the mind to slow down. It allows emotions to settle. It allows thoughts to become clear. This silence can take many forms. It may be meditation, deep breathing, prayer, or simply sitting quietly while focusing on the present moment. The goal is not to eliminate thoughts completely, but to observe them without reacting. Think about how often decisions are made while feeling stressed or distracted. In those moments, clarity disappears. But when the mind becomes still, understanding becomes easier. Silence prepares the mind for focus. It creates calm before action. Even a few minutes of silence each morning can change emotional balance for the rest of the day. Now we move to the second step. Affirmations. Affirmations are statements that strengthen belief. Many people carry negative thoughts without realizing it. They repeat phrases like, "I am not good enough," "I am always tired," or "success is not for me." These thoughts become internal habits, shaping confidence and behavior. Affirmations challenge those patterns. They replace negative beliefs with intentional, empowering statements. But affirmations are not about pretending everything is perfect. They are about reminding yourself of your potential and your goals. They are about speaking words that guide your direction. For example, a person might repeat, "I am becoming more disciplined each day." Another might say, "I am focused on learning and growing." These statements slowly reshape belief. Over time, belief influences action. And action influences results. Many successful individuals use affirmations to maintain confidence and direction. They understand that words spoken repeatedly become beliefs stored deeply in the mind. Affirmations strengthen identity. They remind you of who you want to become. Next comes the third step. Visualization. Visualization is the process of imagining success before it happens. It involves creating clear mental images of desired outcomes. Athletes often use visualization before competitions. They imagine themselves performing perfectly. They picture movements, strategies, and victories before stepping into action. This preparation strengthens confidence and reduces fear. Visualization works because the mind responds strongly to images. When you imagine achieving a goal, the brain begins preparing for that outcome. Motivation increases. Focus sharpens. Obstacles appear more manageable. Visualization also creates emotional connection. Instead of seeing goals as distant dreams, they begin to feel real. They become personal and meaningful. Imagine visualizing the life you want to create: improved health, stronger relationships, financial stability, meaningful achievements. These images inspire action. Visualization turns dreams into direction. It transforms vague desires into clear goals. Now we arrive at the fourth step. Exercise. Movement awakens the body. After hours of sleep, the body needs activity to increase energy and circulation. Even light movement sends signals to the brain that the day has begun. Exercise does not need to be intense or time-consuming. It can be stretching, walking, yoga, or simple physical activity. The goal is not exhaustion. The goal is activation. Physical movement increases energy levels naturally. It improves mood. It strengthens focus. Many people rely on caffeine to feel awake, but movement provides a more powerful and lasting effect. Exercise also builds discipline. Completing physical activity early in the day creates a sense of achievement. It signals to the mind that progress has already begun. This early victory creates confidence. Confidence creates momentum. Momentum carries into the rest of the day. Now comes the fifth step. Reading. Reading introduces new ideas. It expands understanding. It allows learning from experiences that others have already lived. Without reading, growth becomes limited to personal experience. But reading multiplies experience. It allows learning from experts, leaders, and thinkers across history. Even a few pages each morning can create powerful change over time. Books provide guidance. They offer solutions to problems. They introduce perspectives that challenge old thinking. Reading strengthens knowledge. Knowledge strengthens decision-making. Decision-making strengthens results. This step reminds us that learning is not limited to classrooms. Growth continues throughout life when curiosity remains active. And now we arrive at the sixth and final step. Scribing. Scribing means writing. Writing thoughts, goals, reflections, or plans creates clarity. It transforms ideas into visible form. Instead of remaining scattered in the mind, thoughts become organized on paper. Writing also strengthens commitment. When goals are written, they feel more real. They feel measurable. They feel achievable. Journaling allows reflection on progress. It helps identify patterns. It reveals improvement over time. It also provides emotional release. Sometimes thoughts feel overwhelming until they are written. Once written, they become manageable. Writing builds awareness. Awareness builds control. Control builds progress. Together, These 6 steps, silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing, form the Life S.A.V.E.R.S system. Individually, each habit provides benefit. But combined, they create transformation. They strengthen clarity. They build confidence. They increase discipline. And perhaps most importantly, they create intentional mornings, mornings that prepare the mind instead of exhausting it. At first, this routine may feel unfamiliar. It may feel challenging to wake earlier and complete these activities. But repetition creates familiarity. Familiarity creates comfort. And comfort creates consistency. Hal Elrod reminds readers that success does not depend on perfection. It depends on persistence. Missing a day does not mean failure. Quitting entirely does. The goal is steady progress, not flawless performance. Over time, these small daily actions produce noticeable results. Energy increases. Focus improves. Confidence strengthens. Life begins to feel more organized and purposeful. And slowly, mornings transform from rushed beginnings into powerful opportunities. Starting a miracle morning may sound simple in theory, but in reality, most people struggle with one major obstacle: their own mind. Hal Elrod explains that the biggest barrier to transformation is not lack of time, energy, or resources. It is limiting beliefs. From childhood, many people carry messages like, "I'm not a morning person," "I'll never be disciplined," or "Success requires luck, not habit." These beliefs create internal resistance. They convince the mind that change is impossible. And because the mind naturally resists change, these beliefs keep people stuck in the comfort of old routines. The first step in breaking these barriers is awareness. Hal Elrod urges readers to notice their excuses and limiting beliefs. Write them down. Speak them aloud. Examine them honestly. When we bring these unconscious patterns into consciousness, they lose their power. The second step is reframing. Every limiting belief can be replaced with a constructive, empowering one. Instead of saying, "I'm not a morning person," say, "I am capable of creating mornings that energize me and improve my life." Instead of thinking, "I'll never have time for personal growth," reframe it to, "I can invest even a few minutes each day to improve my mind, body, and spirit." This reframing is subtle but powerful. It shifts the mind from resistance to possibility. From fear to action. From avoidance to curiosity. Next comes the practical challenge: waking up earlier consistently. Many people fail because they underestimate the power of habit. The mind craves familiarity, even if the familiar pattern is harmful or unproductive. That's why Hal Elrod introduces the 5-step formula to wake up earlier without struggle. Step 1. Decide and commit. You must make a conscious decision to prioritize your mornings. This is non-negotiable. Write it down. Announce it to yourself and, if necessary, to others. Commitment creates accountability. Step 2. Prepare the night before. Lay out your clothes, set up your space for exercise or journaling, and decide the first steps you will take in the morning. Preparation removes friction. It reduces excuses. Step 3. Use the 20-second rule. Make starting easy by reducing the effort to begin. For example, place your alarm clock across the room so you must stand up to turn it off. Keep your journal, affirmations, and meditation space ready. Remove obstacles that encourage snoozing. Step 4. Eliminate the "I don't feel like it" trap. Hal emphasizes that feelings are unreliable guides. Motivation is not required. Action is. You do not need to feel energized to start. By simply beginning, energy and focus follow. Step 5. Celebrate small wins. Even completing one step of your miracle morning counts. Positive reinforcement strengthens habit formation. Over time, consistent action becomes automatic. Hal Elrod also reminds readers that success in mornings is not about perfection, it's about consistency. Missing a day is normal. Quitting is not. The goal is progress, not perfection. Small, steady wins compound over time, creating exponential growth in focus, discipline, and performance. Another important psychological insight is the concept of identity transformation. Most people fail to maintain habits because they rely on willpower alone. But lasting change occurs when you begin thinking of yourself differently. When you identify as a disciplined person, a healthy person, a successful person, or a morning person, your habits naturally align with that identity. Thoughts, actions, and behaviors follow identity. Repeatedly performing the miracle morning reinforces the new self-image. This is why Hal emphasizes visualization, affirmations, and journaling, not just as techniques, but as tools to reshape identity. Each morning, you practice being the person you want to become. Each day, small actions align your reality with your vision. Hal Elrod also addresses common excuses people make: "I'm too tired, I don't have time, my life is too busy." He reframes these excuses as opportunities for mastery. Waking up earlier may be uncomfortable at first, but discomfort leads to growth. Busy schedules force prioritization. Energy improves with intentional activity. Time expands when it is invested in meaningful action. He reminds readers that these excuses are illusions that keep people trapped in mediocrity. Transformation requires courage, the courage to face resistance, to endure discomfort, and to act despite fear. By combining the Life S.A.V.E.R.S routine with strategies for breaking limiting beliefs, preparing the night before, and committing to identity-based action, Hal Elrod shows that lasting change is not only possible, but inevitable when the method is applied consistently. Finally, Hal introduces a profound insight: your morning routine does more than structure your day. It restructures your life. Small daily actions, repeated consistently, reshape your priorities, relationships, productivity, and mindset. Over months and years, these routines compound into extraordinary results. Imagine someone who begins each day with focus, energy, and purpose. Over time, they become more disciplined, more confident, and more resilient. Their mind becomes sharper. Their relationships improve. Their health benefits. Their career performance accelerates. And all of this began simply by choosing how to start the day. This is the transformative promise of the miracle morning. It is not about magic. It is about consistent, intentional effort. Not about a single breakthrough, but about the compounding effect of small victories. Not about extraordinary talent, but about extraordinary habits. By now, the power of mornings should feel clear. But understanding is one thing, seeing results is another. Hal Elrod emphasizes that transformation happens when knowledge becomes action. The miracle morning is not a theory. It is a practical framework, proven by thousands of people worldwide who have applied it consistently. Many readers have shared stories of dramatic change. People who once felt stuck in stressful jobs discovered renewed energy and focus. Those struggling with health and fitness developed consistency and discipline. Relationships improved as individuals became calmer, more present, and intentional. Even financial performance changed as focus and clarity led to smarter decisions. One woman, for example, began waking up 30 minutes earlier to journal, meditate, and visualize her goals. Within months, she reported increased energy, reduced stress, and a sense of control she had never felt before. She began taking initiatives at work, nurturing her relationships, and pursuing personal growth projects she had postponed for years. Another man, overwhelmed by anxiety and lack of direction, adopted the full S.A.V.E.R.S routine. Each morning, he started with 5 minutes of silence, followed by affirmations, visualization, a short workout, reading, and journaling. Within 6 months, he described a profound shift. His mindset became more optimistic, his productivity soared, and his life felt aligned with his long-term goals. Hal Elrod calls these stories the natural result of compounding improvement. Small daily victories accumulate over time, reshaping mindset, habits, and life. It is the same principle as saving money. Consistent deposits, no matter how small, eventually grow into wealth. Daily intentional mornings work the same way with energy, focus, and personal development. But transformation is not always easy. Change challenges comfort zones. Early mornings may feel uncomfortable. Discipline may seem inconvenient. Resistance from the mind or environment can appear. Yet Hal reminds readers that discomfort is the price of growth. Just as muscles strengthen through resistance, personal potential expands through persistent action. One key insight he emphasizes is that the miracle morning is flexible. Not every day will go perfectly. The routine can be adjusted to fit personal schedules. Even 10 minutes of focused practice yields benefit. The important principle is consistency over perfection. Repeated action over time creates lasting change. Another important lesson is that mornings are not only about personal gain. When we improve ourselves, our relationships, our work, and our contributions to the world improve. Energy, patience, and presence ripple outward. Families, teams, and communities benefit from individuals who begin their days with purpose. The miracle morning is not selfish, it is a practice that amplifies impact on every area of life. Hal Elrod also reminds readers that the journey does not end with adopting a morning routine. The miracle morning is a tool for continuous growth. It encourages lifelong learning, self-reflection, and deliberate action. As individuals grow, they refine their mornings, explore new practices, and expand their potential. It is a dynamic process that evolves with life. Imagine the life of someone who fully commits to this method. Each day begins with silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and journaling. Each week builds momentum. Each month compounds progress. Within a year, energy is higher, focus sharper, habits stronger, and goals closer than ever imagined. What once felt impossible becomes routine. What once required struggle becomes effortless. Hal Elrod closes with an inspiring reminder: the power to transform life lies within each individual. External circumstances may influence outcomes, but they do not determine them. Daily choices, the decision to wake up with intention, to invest time in personal growth, to take responsibility for development, shape destiny. The miracle morning is not a magic pill. It is a practical, proven approach to designing the life you desire. It combines mindset, habit, and action into a single, powerful framework. The result is not only achievement, but peace, confidence, clarity, and fulfillment. As we conclude, consider this: what would your life look like if each morning began with purpose, focus, and intention? What if you dedicated the first hour to strengthening your mind, body, and spirit? How much more energy, clarity, and joy could you experience? The answer lies in taking the first step. One day, one morning, one consistent choice. Hal Elrod reminds us that transformation begins not with perfection, but with commitment. Not with grand plans, but with small, intentional actions repeated over time. So today, you can choose a different path. Not a path of rushed mornings, reactive days, and scattered energy. But a path of calm, intentional mornings. A path where small actions compound into extraordinary results. A path where your potential is fully realized. If this message resonated with you, if it inspired reflection on how you currently start your days, then consider subscribing to Inspired Pages. Share this video with someone who feels stuck, overwhelmed, or in need of direction. Because sometimes the road to extraordinary living begins with one simple decision: how to start your morning. This is Inspired Pages. Begin each day intentionally. Build your life with purpose. Keep growing, keep learning, and keep transforming. The miracle is waiting, in the morning you choose to create.